It's interesting that we take people to several wineries, which are very nice wineries, but we usually have an off the beaten path experience. And they're not always as elegant and nice and refined as the wineries, but they're where people are always comment. They're like, wow, it's usually the second stop. Sometimes it's the first, but it's where people are always like, this is incredible. You hit the nail on the head. And it's because those experiences are super authentic. We usually incorporate their lesser known places where you're tasting with the winemaker or the owner himself. I'm an experienced person.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Reframe First. I'm Alexei, the host of the podcast, and let me welcome our today's guest, Paul Bauman, founder and CEO at Vino Virginia. So, hi Paul, it's great having you here.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm excited to be here and talk about wine today.
Yeah, wine is always great. So thanks a lot for joining, Paul. And from what I learned at Vino Virginia, you specialize at offering Virginia wine tours around the Virginia region and wineries also around there. And you provide some quite authentic, unique experiences throughout the heart of Virginia wine country. So could you tell us more about what you do, what wineries I can visit and so on?
Got to come on a tour to find those ones. But so great. Well, I appreciate you bringing me on today and looking forward to having a conversation here. And I talk about being a wine tour company, but I've designed the company as much more than just a wine tour company. What we do is we're rebranding, in the process of rebranding the company now as Vino Virginia Wine Country Experiences. And we design curated wine country experiences in Virginia that combine the wine as the platform, but also the history and the local culture, or in French, the term terroir means sense of place. So we want people to leave Virginia wine country with an understanding of the sense of place, but also to leave transformed and changed from the experience, versus a lot of wine tour companies focus really on the logistics of getting you from winery A to B to C. And so from the beginning, we really designed the company as an experience company versus a wine tour company. But we had to adjust our marketing to wine tours at the beginning because people didn't fully understand what it meant to have an experience 12 years ago when we started the company.
And when talking about experiences, what else on top of wine tasting? What else is there?
So when you look at an experience too, there's multiple parts to an experience. There's a theme, there's transitions in between it. You get to know the people of wine country. So you have intimate experiences with the creators of the beverages of the locations that we go to. And then we incorporate the five senses into the experience: sight, sound, touch, taste, smell. And then you actually learn about the winemaking process. You learn how to taste wine. What are you looking for when you taste wine? And people leave with what we call a memorabilia. So they leave with an idea of not just that they had a good time drinking wine, but also that they had great memories and that they are taking something with them when they go back home.
Yeah, I see. So you can take a few bottles of great wine with you.
Yes, we can.
That's what you usually do when you taste wine.
Something that's really interesting that we see is, we're right next to Washington, D.C., major place that people come to visit. And people see the monuments, they see the museums and all the great things there are in D.C. But we get a great number of people who are like, wow, they don't know Virginia for wine, and we're an up and coming region. But then they come here and they're like, wow, that was the best part of my week here in DC. Oh, even when we first started the tours out, people would express it, be like, we've been on tours, wine tours all around the world, but nothing like that. So when you incorporate an experience into what you do, it really changes how people experience. And I guess to overuse the overused word.
And what's your typical segment of visitors? So when people coming to this to DC, coming there like as travelers, as tourists, or are they coming there on business, bringing their families, and then with families coming to see Virginia? Or what's the typical like user segment you have?
We get a good mix of people. We do get the tourists coming internationally, as well as from a lot of the East Coast is where a lot of our tourists come from. We get a lot from Texas and actually a lot from California that come on the tours, which are two big wine regions here in the United States. And we typically, our customers are usually between 30 to 35 up to about 55 is the age. Majority women and or couples. We do a lot of women's weekends or girls' weekends, and then a lot of couples' birthday parties, a lot of bridal parties. Although we're seeing one of the changes that we've seen a lot of is we're doing less bridal parties and more wedding parties. So people are having micro weddings. They get married at a local hotel, and then they're like, we want to go to the winery. So we set up some unique experiences at the wineries for people after their wedding.
Okay, that's new with regard to the weddings. You mentioned like 30, 35 plus. What about the younger generation? Does the trend of like the no alcohol trend affect you? Because from what I hear, the younger generation is not really like alcohol drinkers, and the whole alcohol industry is struggling because of that, with overproduction and stuff.
Yes, there's, so you had COVID, which there wasn't enough wine sold. So a lot of wineries had a backlog of wine. And then now we have the younger generations not drinking. Even a lot of people all along the spectrum have, I think, reduced the amount of drinking that they're doing since COVID. And which, is as experienced company, we're repositioning marketing to the experience, but we've always done the experience. And so while wine is a core of what our business is built around, we're really driving into the experience itself. Whether it's a lot of people I'm getting requests all the time. Can you take us hiking? Can we do yoga? Can we do a brunch experience? So we're going to be releasing a lot of different unique experiences. We'll have a Halloween experience. We'll have a Christmas experience. So we are seeing a significant decrease in the amount of people who are drinking wine. The wineries are feeling that too. But people are asking for the experience. They're looking for something new and exciting to do.
So it sounds like gradual shift towards some wellness programs rather than wine drinking.
Yes, that's exactly true. Yes.
Yeah. If I come over there, I will be drinking wine for sure.
All right.
Awesome. Like with regards to customer acquisition, so where do you usually get the customers from? Is it Google? Is it socials? Like, what do you do to acquire customers? And if talking about trends, so because this podcast is mostly about trends in modern world and in business, how did you see it change over time over the last couple of years?
So when I started the company 12 years ago, I was working in IT sales. And so I started this as a side gig. About 4 years ago, after COVID, things really started to take off, and I left the corporate world and said, let's take this full time. And so during that time, I have not done any marketing. It's just grown organically.
Yeah.
But now we're leaning into a lot of the partnerships that we have to take it to the next level. We've spent the past couple of years really building it. Well, we take a step back. Most of my competitors over the past couple of years have come to either sell to me or work for me. And so I've been able to see the insides of a lot of the other companies here and understand why they're selling and where they're struggling with the growth. And a lot of it comes from they might be good at marketing, but their internal processes, they can't scale, or they're not able to drive enough business. They've got the people and maybe the processes, but they don't have the marketing capabilities. And so what we've been working on the past couple of years is to develop 3 engines within the company to help us to scale. And this is where we're really going to, I think, succeed in the marketplace, which is building out an operational engine, what we call an experience engine, which will be mostly the customer facing aspect, and then the marketing engine. And for marketing, we've partnered with major hotel brands, Amtrak, which is our national train, here in the United States, and other destination marketing offices that we're partnering with to really drive the marketing aspect. Now that we've almost built out our internal operational engine and our experience engine, we're also partnering with. We're introducing some internships for MBA level students on experience design to local universities, as well as partnership development that we would like to co-develop or work as an internship program with some universities. So a lot of tourism companies, organizations like ours, work with OTAs or online travel agencies like Expedia and Get Your Guide things. And you're heavily dependent on them. If their algorithms change, your business changes drastically, and they take a lot of your profit, basically. So we are looking at building local partnerships that we're investing in the local community and building those local partnerships to drive the business locally as well. And so that's really how we're looking at building out the business. It's definitely much slower and difficult than just putting our stuff up on OTAs. But I think the long-term sustainability for the company is going to be very significant.
Well, awesome. That sounds like local community sustainability. So like you all together as a community trying to grow. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, this is also the first time I'm hearing that, because like people usually put it, on Get Your Guide and get traffic from there. But yeah, you really you indeed heavily dependent on their algorithms and their platform, and they like take a big cut of your profits. And then awesome. So you're not just doing wine tours, you're building a system. So like all the three engines that you mentioned, operational experience and marketing engines, they are indeed like sound like a system. So what did break in this system while you were scaling recently?
Operations is what breaks as you scale.
Everything, but there's always something that breaks when you scale. So there's also always that. What broke for you? In terms
it was operations. It was trying to keep up with the demand of the customers. Currently, in the past, a lot of our operational, everything from proposal building was highly customized. Customers' requests came in, we built out a proposal, we had back and forth with them. And so we're going to automate a lot of that process through the website. That'll become our customer facing interface that will have a lot more information on it. The experiences will be clearly defined versus right now we just have one experience that we show on the website. And then on the back end, we use a platform to manage the back end, from project management to lead capture and things, but we need to get them working more tightly together. So we're working with developers to get everything working so that there's a lot of process we could automate better. And that's what we're working on right now. Cause I anticipate we'll be doing a big push with marketing over the next year here, because we've dialed back the marketing over the past 2 years while we worked on our internal processes and systems. We're going to start to kick off in the next month a big marketing push, which we'll find out where we've missed things and what's going to break next. But I anticipate we're going to continue to, as we market more, operationally is going to be the area that we're going to be continually chasing.
Yeah. That's what I call a good problem to have. So
yes, it is.
When your marketing scales that much that you cannot keep up with in terms of operations, that's a good problem.
That is.
The worst problem is you do not have the users. Yeah, please.
Yeah, and when you have the marketing and the sales happening, everything else can take care of itself, because you've obviously got the revenue to push that forward.
Yeah. For sure. If talking about scale, if it's not a secret, how many tours do you make on some regular basis? Monthly, annually, whatever. So how does it work for you?
Yeah, so we offer tours Wednesday through Sunday. Yeah. So those are the days of the week that we can offer a tour. And then we offer 3 different types of tours. We'll offer public tours where people can just, when you come here, you can just hop on a tour. And then we do private experiences, and those will customize a little bit more. And then corporate experiences, which we actually design them completely different for groups of 20 or more.
You mentioned that you are preparing some proposals for your visitors, like when they are requesting some tours. How long does it usually take to prepare one. And you mentioned that you are trying to like streamline it and to automate it somehow. Like what are you doing in that direction?
So the proposal process doesn't take too long itself. We have templated it all using our CRM system. And so it's pretty automated. We use a product, we have products, we can select the products, and each of the tours are already packaged. What takes us a lot of time is the customer lead comes in, then we call them back, find out what they're looking for. Most people don't exactly know what wineries they want to go to or really what they want. They just know they want. Ironically, people don't say, I want this kind of wine. They usually say, I want beautiful scenery. So we'll guide them through the process. We have several different experiences that we offer. So then we have an email exchange back and forth. And then once they select the one that each of the experiences are designed really around a feel, which is part of the experience versus I want to go to winery A, B, and C. There's a theme and a feel around it. So they'll get that from the email. They'll reach back. They'll tell us which one we want. Then we will build out the proposal based on the information they've given us and send them off that proposal. They will then sign that, digitally sign it through our system and send it back. And then we have a project management tool that manages how the tour is executed and the documents that need to be created for it. So the proposal itself doesn't take a lot of time, but the back and forth process does. So our new website, it's a lot of steps. And then there's a reservation system in the process that we have to send them a link for. And then there's some processes that the guide has to download some documents from the reservation system for the tour. And then afterwards, we send off pictures and a thank you email to the person, which is another very manual process. So those are all processes that we will automate through the website. Well, the front end and proposal process will go away and people will be able to come to the website, see the experience, customize it the way they want from the website and hit submit, pay with the credit card. And then our guides will receive notification if they've got a tour that day and they'll have all the information that they need right there. So that whole back and forth will go away. And what we're trying to do through technology and in the immediate future is in AI is to reduce the amount of friction within the experience, the getting onto the experience so that we can focus on spending more time with the guests where they want us, which is the human interaction on the tours.
What frictions do you mean? Like, what frictions are there? And I mean, are these frictions during the booking process, the preparation process, or during the experience itself?
During the booking process, so the back and forth.
Yeah, the book.
Yeah. So one of the things I think will really differentiate us is people being able, a lot of tour companies allow you to be able to book right online, which is not anything new, but that will have truly an experience that will be customizable online using the multiple different technologies that we're using will be something I think that will not necessarily will be completely different from anybody else, but will be a differentiator among the competitors that I have in the area.
Customization, I mean, the amount of what's included in the experience, like what wineries you want to visit. Do you want to have a yoga on the sunrise or something like that?
Yes, all of those there. We partner, for example, with a flower farm on one of our experiences that works with neurodivergent kids. So they'll not only, we try to incorporate meaning and purpose into pretty much everything that we do. So for example, they not only buying flowers for their loved ones on the experience that will be delivered to them at the winery as a surprise typically, but they're also supporting neurodivergent students who are learning critical life skills through growing the flowers and putting together the bouquets. So restaurants that they'll be going to, upgraded experiences at the wineries are all kinds of things that they'll be able to add on to their experiences.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of integrations with other providers of the different, I don't know, how we call it, itinerary items, I would say.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's a lot of work. So good luck with that. With regards to visitors, like nowadays, everybody's using AI a lot. How prepared are users nowadays when they come to you and book some experience?
How prepared are they with AI? Is that what you said?
Yeah. It's quite easy to go to ChatGPT or whatever, or to Claude and ask what winery should I visit in Virginia region. And do they use this kind of tool set? How prepared are they when they come to you with their expectations? How did it change? years?
Yeah, and most people are still coming to me. They're actually, that's an interesting question that was recently coming up for me. People have been coming to me recently and be like, we want to go with you guys and
Yeah.
we want to do your experience. And the approach that they came at me with, until you just said this now, I was like, it kind of caught me off guard. I was like, why do they sound like they already know what my corporate experiences are. We don't publish the corporate experiences right now. And so the way that they approached me is probably because of what they read through AI, now that I think of it. Because they were a younger generation group, people in their late 20s, early 30s. So we've also been starting to track who comes to our website through AI. And we have started to see a few hits that say they're directly from AI versus Google. Our new website, we're designing it, incorporating it so that it not only works with Google, but also works with AI. So it's conversational. How people are coming to us, though, I haven't started to track that fully yet, but we will be as we launch the new website and how it's impacting people. I can feel that there is a difference in the way people are communicating with us and what they're asking for. So I would imagine a lot of that is from AI.
Yeah, I see. Like my next one follow up one is about the buyer behavior change, especially since you have a lot of experience in IT sales. You know, sales selling IT or SaaS or whatever is not selling wine tours, but still, how did buyer behavior change over years, especially over the last couple of years post COVID with the boom of AI? How do you feel that kind of change in buyer behavior? Like besides people coming from AI agents nowadays?
It's hard to say exactly what the behavior is driving people, other than what I see when they come to me. I've done my own searches on, wine tours, tell me about the best wine tours in the area. And we always come up in those searches, which I'm like, okay, phew. Because our current website, we haven't optimized for AI. Our new website, we've been focused
Yeah.
on that. But because we've been around for so long, we seem to be coming up still. I would say I have seen a reduction in the amount of people reaching out to us. We have a chat bot and I monitor people hitting the website. And so we get the same amount of people hitting the website here, but we don't get many people using the chat bot now. So people may be getting their answers answered without even contacting us. I think that's one of the major things that's probably changed, is that people aren't asking as many questions, which might
And
mean
one
that they're making decisions without asking any questions too, which is, as I think about it,
which is quite
could be a
likely
little
that,
scary.
yeah, they're asking ChatGPT like, what can I do in Virginia region when they coming to the DC, and then they get the answer already. One of your bets is about authentic experiences, from what I understand, and I'm also hearing the authentic experiences being a trend nowadays. Do you like? Did you make this bet on purpose? Do you see this trend, and how deep do you see it?
It's interesting that we take people to several wineries, which are very nice wineries, but we usually have an off the beaten path experience.
Yeah.
And they're not always as elegant and nice and refined as the wineries, but they're where people are always comment. They're like, wow, it's usually the second stop. Sometimes it's the first, but it's where people are always like, this is incredible. You hit the nail on the head. And it's because those experiences are super authentic and usually incorporate their lesser known places where you're tasting with the winemaker or the owner himself. He's just I'm personally, I'm an experienced person. I like to explore and find the unique off the beaten path things. And those are the things that we've incorporated into our experiences that really give people a one-on-one experience. And personally believe that people are, as AI accelerates the speed at which the world's going at, that people are going to be looking for those one-on-one personal experiences where they can either connect with their loved ones or connect with the producers of whatever it is they're looking to get engaged with.
Like, this is the second or third time I'm hearing during this interview that it's like unbelievable experience. So
I
what do you
might be
make?
biased, who knows? No.
I don't think so. Yeah, you might be, but like since you mentioned that, it's like it sounds like somebody is telling you that.
Yeah.
So you get this kind of feedback. So what are you making to promote this kind of wow factor? Because Usually, like as you mentioned, people are coming there and it's their second stop. It's not their first stop. And what are you making to promote it and to make it the first stop so that people come for this kind of experience, especially since they're kind of a trend in the world and in travel world about authentic, unique experiences.
So we've partnered with several hotel brands,
Yeah.
our local destination marketing offices, and the state of Virginia, as well as Amtrak, our national train. We've designed a program called All Aboard for Wine and More. And so the objective is that we're going to be targeting East Coast travelers, bringing them into the local region to stay overnight at local hotels, and then we'll pick them up and we'll take them out to wine country for an experience. But our marketing will drive, because our we offer experiences, we will promote a full experience, as we have a city stay and a wine country stay, and those will expand over time with other regions here. But with that will be a key part to our marketing. If it's we're targeting New York City, get out of the city, come to Alexandria, experience the charm of Alexandria, and then go out into wine country and relax and enjoy time with your friends and your loved ones.
Yeah, I see. Awesome, awesome. Paul, was maybe another one would be with regards to seasonality. There should be some seasonality in winemaking, but is there a seasonality in your region at all?
There is. Yeah. The major season for, especially for our tours, is pretty much April, May through the end of October, middle of November. We're working, because we're driving experiences. We're also, some of our experiences will help to reduce that lull that we have during the colder seasons. Wineries are still operational. They're actually, I love going to the wineries in the wintertime because they're quieter. You get more attention. And especially during the Christmas holidays, they're decorated really nicely. Some of them have giant fireplaces. You can sit by the fireplace with your friends and talk and have wine. So I really love the winter season, but a lot of people just assume that wineries are either closed or it's just not the season that you go. And I think it's a great time to go. So we'll promote different experiences that will drive business during that off season, such as we'll have a Christmas magic experience, which will be a really, really neat experience on the mountaintop where they light up all the vines with 10,000 lights, with little fires, and marshmallows, with light dinner. It'd be a really cool experience.
Yeah, and yes, so that's a big misconception in that part because you get way more attention from winemakers when they are not busy.
Hmm.
And when they can tell you how their season went and, and they have some time to dedicate to you. Did you notice, like, how far in advance do visitors book the tours with you, and did it change recently?
Yes, yeah, that's a really interesting question because people used to book far in advance, and
Yeah.
sometimes we get people, a couple days in advance. Even I have a corporate experience reach out to me on Friday, and they're like, "Hey, can we do a custom experience next Friday?" And I'm like it's a pretty short time frame, but we'll see what we can do here. But yeah, so we are definitely seeing shortened time frames in terms of how people are booking now.
Why do you think it is?
Huh. The why, I'm not exactly certain, but the industry trends had alerted me to this about a year and a half ago. Arrival, which is an industry organization that I belong to, have been saying that times are going to get shorter, that people are going to plan. But I don't know exactly why that happened. I don't know. Have you heard anything about that kind of stuff and why it's?
I'm just seeing the trend, and it's all over the travel industry, like cruise ship companies being affected. So it's all over the industry. Like, U.S. citizens were used to purchase trips in December because you have Thanksgiving, there is Christmas, and people were planning their next year. In Europe, people were usually doing that around late December and January. And nowadays it just flattens. So, and I'm hearing that again and again from all the players in the industry, be it like flights, hotels, whatever. So tours, cruise ships, it just flattens, and people are buying that not long year in advance, not planning the next year, but rather waiting closer to the experience date itself, and few weeks like before the trip. Could be because of financial reasons, like people have less money and they're waiting for last moment deals.
Yeah.
Could be because of the younger generation, because they come into play and they are not baby boomers. They are not waiting for they're not planning their vacation for next year, so they want it now. And that change of generational change of behavior could be something different. But I'm not getting like clear answer from other people from the industry. But everybody is seeing that kind of trend, so it just flattens. So it's not like spike in certain months; it just flattens all over the year.
I could see you just said something that sparked an interest, thought in my mind here is I could see that people are becoming more, perhaps it's not necessarily that they're not planning further out, they're becoming perhaps more impulsive with social media. So they see something on Instagram, they say, I want to do that, and they go out and they do it versus saying, let's plan that for, next year or next month or something.
With regards to social media, are you doing some social media? Are you working with some influencers or podcasters?
We have been working with, we haven't worked with any podcasters. We have worked with influencers, especially through our All Aboard for Wine and More program. And we'll be increasing the amount that we do with social media. That's another area that I'm wrestling with. Everybody says you need to be on social media. I know myself, I tend to look at how I'm responding to things, and I don't always buy things. There's not too often where I buy things on social media. I bookmark a lot of things, but I don't buy them. And I do see a lot of things that I want to do, but I personally haven't bought too many things on social media. I don't know if that's a trend among the industry or not, but everybody says so. That's an area that we need to beef up on, though. One thing that I do know, we don't do TikTok, and I know that every time I've had people who are on our tours and they do user generated content on TikTok, the next couple of weeks, we get people and I ask them where they found us and they said TikTok. So I do believe that TikTok could be a big market for us. We just haven't stepped into that.
Because people tend to believe content with real user experience from other people. They do not believe the platform, and especially in this age of AI, when there is a lot of AI generated content, a lot of fake content, people tend to start to trust more the experiences of other people. And TikTok is probably one of these platforms. Like this I'm hearing businesses start to work closely with social media influencers, minor influencers, but still with somebody who is present there, who has few thousand people of audience, and they can push your content there. So this is one of the trends. Probably you should pay attention to that. Yeah,
Yes.
with regards to promotion. What are the trends? We've touched base on quite a lot of different trends, but what else do you see that's happening recently that's affecting your business?
Yeah, I think the biggest things that we're seeing, our market has changed. We've seen, I think the biggest things, the decrease in wine consumption. We're actually seeing wineries are starting to produce non-alcoholic wine. So they're offering that on our tours. We'll actually have tours where we may promote it as a non-alcoholic option on it. We're also seeing a lot of wineries are offering beer at the wineries as well, or they're making their own beer. So they're trying to capture a bigger part of the market. Those are some of the things that we're adjusting to ourselves. Social media is obviously one. AI, we've talked quite a bit about that. And we're looking to draw from a lot of our market used to be strictly local, but we're looking to expand the market out further. We'll probably cover most of the East Coast with how we market through our All Aboard for Wine and More program, which I think will drive more people here. We're being marketed as the Napa Valley of the East Coast. And
Okay.
through that process, the region should be getting known better and better as a wine region. We already are pretty well known, but not to the extent like California is or Napa Valley is. But don't want to fool anyone. We won't ever be as big as California because we're just not territorial as big. But the wine here is definitely getting better and better and getting more and more recognition. But I think some other things that are that we're seeing some changes with is really where we have to dig deeper is how people are finding the experiences and what they really want. So our competitive market has changed. All of the owners of the competitive companies have sold out for one reason or another, partially because as what we talked about early on is they can grow to a certain level. The owner is the major component to the business, and they are working till 2 and 3 in the morning, getting proposals out. A lot of things aren't automated. But as the new owners have come in, I think they're kind of a second generation, in some cases, a third generation owner who are able to take the businesses to the next level. And they're looking at it. I think a lot of the original owners were just passionate about Virginia and the wine, versus some of the new owners are more operator focused. And that is increasing. I think it's going to be increasing the competition with what we're doing, because they're both of my major competitors are more savvy business owners than the previous owners were. And so I'm definitely expecting to see some more competition. And for all three of us to, I almost say, look at the market in a similar way. Everybody's pushing experiences. It's just a matter of how deep they go with, I think there's a couple of aspects to it, how deep they go with what an experience truly is versus, just going to the wineries is a great experience. I could probably just take people, drive them from winery 1, 2, and 3, and people would have a great time. We're trying to do something a little bit different, which is partially hard to market because it's very nuanced. But when people come on the experience, they see it. But the other aspect is scale. How do you scale as you market more? And those are the two things that I think are going to be game changers for us, because they're going to allow us to really expand, add on. Doing a tour business, you're capped at how big you can grow from how many tours you can run. So you need to find other ways to drive revenue. And that's where we're going to be driving things over the next couple of years, is how do we drive additional revenue after a person or before a person has gone on our tour?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, hearing about non-alcoholic wine tours is sad.
Yeah, I know, non-alcoholic. Yes, we'll
But
make
yeah,
sure you go on a real alcohol on an alcohol-based wine tour.
well, this is a trend. People think about wellness and what you're doing with local community in that regard. Right, that's the right way to do. Awesome. I think we've covered pretty much a lot of everything. On top of what we discussed, is there anything else you would like to add? What do you think?
I think we've covered pretty much everything. Especially I think we've covered experiences versus the transactional experiences, that we're really focused on a meaningful experience versus just volume, the volume of wineries or the volume of a wine that you can drink, really creating a meaningful experience, which is where the market's really going. And then being able to personalize the experience. People are going to be looking for a personalized experience versus a very general, broad experience. And, I think one of the things, there's two areas here that we really need to probably get on board with, but OTAs and social media, probably some of my own biases in those areas there that we'll not look at, but we'll dive into more, just a matter of expanding into those areas. They just become more mass market in some ways, but I think they can also help us tell our story in a broader context and then let people experience what we do.
Yeah, for sure. There is, in terms of personalized experiences, that's a lot of manual labor, and that's a lot of work in this kind of personalization, because when you're doing something unified, it's much easier. Are you ready for that? Because it will require a lot of effort.
We'll use technology to help personalize the experience. When you think of when you have we have probably 2 or 3 different competitors in the marketplace. One that does, just a large bus, takes you to 3 wineries, lets you go do what you want. And then we have someone at the other end who you call them up, they fully customize the experience. What winery do you want to go to? And they fully customize it. One of them scales relatively, you can scale it, but it's not personalized. The other one's highly personalized, but it's very difficult to scale. We sit right in the middle. By using technology, we'll be able to customize the experience, because the experiences are themed. It's easier to provide customizations based on that theme. So you've bought into the theme concept, And that's already tells us you want this kind of an experience. So now we'll customize, the customizations will be based off of that theme, and people then can choose those, and it will fit with what they're looking to do, versus saying, hey, this is a wine tour, and do you want to do 10 other things with it? That's not what we'll go with customization, but it'll feel like it's been personalized. For personalization is probably the better aspect to say about it.
Yeah, awesome. In terms of social media, I fully agree that you should look into that. In terms of OTA, I personally do believe that that was really right move from your side to work with destination companies, destination management offices. Like the trend I'm seeing, frankly, is that OTAs are in big trouble. And they're gonna be in bigger trouble because they do not really have anything defendable. You have, because you provide the end experience, provide these itinerary items on one side. On the other side, there is user, and there will be these AI agents. Nowadays, this is ChatGPT, Claude, whatever, but it's coming to the point when users will be having their personalized agents, which on their behalf will be going out and trying to book something. And this is also something defendable on users, and all the ETAs are intermediaries, and their market share will be getting lower, from what I think and from what I hear about trends around the industry. So as long as you go to market properly via socials and try to reach directly to users, you will be winning this fight with OTA. That's why your bet on working with DMOs, for me, it's like sounds the right move, at least from my personal experience. It's subjective, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, Paul. That was really interesting discussion. We touched mine a little, but you pointed out a few interesting trends, and I'm really thankful for that. Well, thanks a lot for coming for this episode recording, for this show, for this podcast. Good luck with what you're building.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed the conversation, and look forward to having you come join us one day.
I should, for sure. I have never tried Virginian wine, and I need to. Awesome. Thanks, Paul.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You too. So